the relationship begins not necessarily to break down, but certainly to develop or move into a different kind of arrangement between the two lovers. Suddenly, the lover now gaining a kind of intimacy with the loved one. In other words, in this lyric, he must be in her bedroom if he's watching her combing her long hair. All of a sudden, there are airs and graces, or feminine airs and graces, which somehow begin to attract slight misogyny, which begins to enter into the sequence at this particular point in time. If we remember back to deny, deny, those kinds of misogynistic voices of the male friends that he's left behind, well, somehow the male friend is coming back in again, and there's something going on here. You may remember that Symonds's symbolist movement in poetry was initially called the decadent movement in poetry, and you might think that what's happening here is that this, after this initial flush of young love, this is moving towards a kind of decadence. The lover turns to the loved one and asks her to cease to comb out your long hair, for I have heard of witchery under a pretty air. The air, of course, is the pretty air, which is the music, which is always playing in the background here. But of course, the witchery of the pretty air is that somehow a pretty air can involve itself in other slightly more underground or indeed treacherous matters. It ends up here with that mixes one thing to the lower, to the lover, staying and going hence, all fair with many a pretty air and many a negligence. That strange word, negligence. What is it that's going on there? It's employed to rhyme with going hence and many a negligence. This is in an Edwardian bedroom, and possibly the girl is wearing a negligee, a fashionable item of clothing, and that somehow there's a joke that's going on with this. The image previously in the previous one in the sequence of the girl who is clothed in grey and gossamer, a kind of Botticelli look, is something which is coming back in here again. And of course the hair is also a Botticellian moment as well too. That hair, of course, that related back to the sequence about the tumult in the pine wood, which was connected again back into Yeats's Wind Among the Reeds. There are all kinds of allusions going on here, something where there was a heavy wit and a wit of allusion, a wit of other material which is extraneous to the poem itself, or the moment of the poem which is beginning to weigh it down. Like the movement of culture itself through the 1890s, a poem like this is moving itself into the decadence at the end of that period in time, somehow becoming weighed down by the strength of the various allusions that it's making to all kinds of other cultures, and also in terms of the theme that's going on in the love story, something that's going on here as the lovers begin to move out of their love affair.